Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Parks, Recreation, and Education Commission meeting for today, which is Monday, April 14th. This is 6 p.m. We are in council chambers at 100 Civic Center Way in Calabasas. I will call this meeting to order. I do not have a gavel, but I normally do, but there we go. So let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'd like everyone to stand and face the flag, please. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this point, I will start with roll call. Down to my right.
Brad Klein here.
Stephanie Williams here.
I'm Julie Elginer, present.
Anita McQuillan, present.
Patty Mardell, present.
Wonderful. Let's begin with the approval of the agenda. Do I hear a motion for the approval?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Passes unanimously. Let's start with the presentations. We're going to begin with the Capture Calabasas Photo Contest winners. I believe we have a presentation to show. This is for winter and spring of 2025. Our first one is from Anna Green. This is for first place in the category of open spaces, entitled Serene Tree at the Top of a Hill. Our second is from Jane Garrison. This is second place in the category of open spaces, entitled Just Over the Horizon. And our third is for Grant Sladoff. This is first place in the category of the City of Calabasas, entitled Helicopter Fighting the Palisades Fire. So we are pleased to be able to recognize our three winners, and we want to say congratulations and allow you to come up. We've got a certificate for you and an award. So thank you so much for everyone that has submitted. These are beautiful, and with that, we'll ask everyone to come up. Congratulations. You're going to stand here and we'll get the whole commission together. Congratulations. Yes, absolutely. Sure, you can open it if you like.
Can we even it up? Can one of you come over here? It's a photography award. We got to have it's kind of even, right? All right. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. We have one more presentation, and then we'll get into announcements and public comments. Our second presentation is from the community service presentation on the Calabasas Tennis and Swim Center.
Hi. Good evening, Chair Elginer, Vice Chair McQuillan, fellow commissioners. Thank you for having us this evening. My name is Lana Felice, and I'm the Recreation Supervisor over at the Tennis and Swim Center. I'd like to introduce William Rose, who is our Aquatics Coordinator at the facility, and then our Deputy Community Services Director, Jeff Campbell. And we will be talking today about the Calabasas Tennis and Swim Center. So we want to welcome you to the facility. The Calabasas Tennis and Swim Center is revered as the crown jewel of Calabasas, and it's a very unique facility to Calabasas. Not a lot of cities have facilities like this. It was built in 1969 as a private club and was acquired by the city of Calabasas in 1994 and is operated under the Community Services Department. It is not just a place for people to swim and play tennis, but a hub for recreation and community connection. We have a really robust membership of 7,500 people, and as you see from this aerial photo, we have 18 lighted tennis courts, outdoor heated Olympic pool, fitness facilities for cardio and strength training, group fitness classes, and a partnership with Top Seed Tennis Academy that provides our tennis programming for youth and adults. And we're going to discuss a little bit how the Tennis and Swim Center is funded, and it's considered an enterprise fund, which means that it is self-sustaining through user fees and is not run or supported through general fund tax dollars. And the revenue generated through the facility is from our memberships, our facility rentals, lessons, clinics, facility rentals, and other services provided at the center. So why would we want to have the Tennis and Swim Center operate as an enterprise fund? So the facility operates much like a business and has its own services that run the operating costs. The overall goal is to cover our operational expenses through including staffing, maintenance, utilities, and our programming. And this is through our user-generated revenues. This model is not only financially accountable, but it helps ensure long-term sustainability for the facility. And our agenda for this evening, we're going to meet the team at the Calabasas Tennis and Swim Center. We'll talk about some current and upcoming renovations, our CIP projects, aquatics programming, and our Top Seed tennis programming. So our team over at the Tennis and Swim Center, we have Jeff Campbell, who's our Deputy Community Services Director, who oversees the daily operations and our strategic planning for the facility and our department, and coordinates our capital improvement projects. Me, Lana Felice, who's the Recreation Supervisor, and I manage the daily programming, our staff coordination, and our assisting with our daily operations. And Will Rose, our aquatics coordinator, who runs our aquatics programming, our pool operations, our lifeguard staff, our fitness center, and our water safety programs.
Okay, thank you, Lana. Good evening, Commission. Thank you for having us here. We're very excited to talk to you about this. Again, my name is Jeff Campbell. I've been with the city just shy of 3 years, and as Lana mentioned, cities don't have facilities like this. This really is a jewel, and the city and the residents and the surrounding communities are so lucky to have something like this because it really is phenomenal. When I first got here, I remember my first day here, I came to City Hall and met with Erica, and she kind of went over the department, and she said, okay, well, I'm going to take you over to where you're going to work now. And I said, okay, well, interesting. So she took me over to Tennis and Swim, and I was like, wow, I get to work here? This is where I'm going to be? This is amazing. And it really is. So quickly I learned that, yes, it's a very beautiful facility, but it was beginning to show its age, built in 1968. We were starting to have some problems here and some things that needed to be addressed. So we're going to start off with the lighting. The lights that if you look up here, I don't have any up-close photos of the old lights, so we're kind of taking some tennis court renovation photos that we'll talk about here in a bit that show the old lights. They were large pressurized sodium, probably potentially original, that came with the facility. They're about 2 feet wide, 3 feet long, about 80 pounds each. And why I say that is because it became really evident of their size and weight when we started having the wind issues earlier this year. Because you'd see them up on those poles and they would sway several feet back and forth, and it really started getting us concerned. We're like, wow, those could really become a problem, not knowing, again, the age and the strength of those poles. So we started looking at other ways of doing things, realizing that virtually every facility is phasing out those pressurized sodium lights and going into LED lights for cost efficiency, for a variety of reasons, better lighting. So we started looking at what kind of options we can do. So working with our community services director, we had a project with a budget of $125,000 to replace all the lighting. Fortunately for us, we have in-house maintenance staff that know how to do that. So instead of spending $125,000, we purchased them for $30,000, and they were done in-house. So we saved a large amount of money. And all 18 courts have been done. Very positive feedback. We're using probably half the electricity, so we're already seeing a difference on our electric bills when they come through. The membership is very excited. We just had the pro tennis tournament here, and they took their leisure light meters out there to make sure we have substantial light for the nighttime games. They went to the first court and they said everything's fine. They just put it away. They're like, this looks amazing. And again, we're fortunate that we have in-house staff that know how to do this, so we were able to do this very cost effectively. And maybe about a month of time, they're doing basically a quart a day. They were getting so quick at it. So it was really a good upgrade. If you look at the middle photo up there, you'll see on the right that's the old light, and on the left is the new one. So that's a court that at the time had the left one done, the right one had not been done. And if you look at the other two photos, that's when we were first getting them done and just testing the lights and just seeing how nice they look. And again, very positive feedback on the lights, so we're very excited about that. Moving on, the tennis court renovations. One of the first things I started hearing when I became the manager over at the Tennis and Swim Center is, when are you guys going to do something with the tennis courts? They haven't been done in 8 or 9 years. The standard rule of thumb is to redo your courts about every 5 years, depending on wear and tear. And if they haven't been done 8 or 9, you look at some of the problems we were having there, where maintenance was doing the best they could to stay on top of it, keep them safe, but aesthetically they were not looking very good. So again, Erica already had a CIP, a capital improvement project, set up for this, that we started addressing the tennis courts. Fortunately, again, our maintenance staff was very versed on how to resurface tennis courts. So they would get them ready to go, put on the black rubberized traction surfacing first. They do that in about a day. It's a liquid that they pour out, and they have like about a 3-foot long, basically like a squeegee, and they just squeegee and paint it all the way across. Someone comes and pours it down, and the other one comes behind, and it's a really neat system. So they would do that the first day. The second day, they would come through and put down 2 layers of the green. They'd put one in the morning, let it dry, put down a second layer. The next day, they would do the same thing with the blue, 2 layers or 2 coats. And then after that, the final day, they would repaint the white lines, put up the net, and we're good to go. So if you look at over there, the right photo, the left photo shows some of the courts and what they looked like, some of our more damaged courts, what they looked like before we started doing the renovations. The right photo shows Court 4 on the left when it's just done, and Court 5 what it looked like before it got done. It has now since been done. But to show you a contrast of what happens here. If we had to contract out for this, we would probably be looking at $15,000, $20,000 per court. Again, we're doing it for about $3,000 per court because we're just buying the supplies using in-house maintenance staff, which is really an amazing thing to do. So looking here again, these are courts that have just been done. We have almost all the courts done of the 18. We still have courts 11, 12, and 13 to do. 11 is being done this week, so it should be done by next Monday. Then we'll start on 12 and 13. Then we'll have the 2 smaller courts, the junior tennis courts, which also dual as pickleball courts. And then all 18 courts will have been touched in about a 1.5 to 2-year process. So we have to do it when the temperature is warmer so that it dries, so we cannot do it during the wintertime. It's now getting up to where temperature is high enough that the surface is able to dry, and we're able to do it in a timely fashion and get the courts open in about a week time per court. Okay, the pool renovation, the next project that we took on. I'm going to let Will talk first about why we saw a need to go ahead and do the pool renovation, and then I'll talk more about the process itself and some of the challenges we incurred weather-wise and what our end result was.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here, and as Jeff said, to be able to speak about how awesome this facility is and how gorgeous it truly is a pleasure. So, I've been with the facility now for over 6 years. I started as a lifeguard, so I know this pool very, very well. It is gorgeous, and anybody who's been there will tell you it is one of the most beautiful pools that is in the area, if not in general. But it is, as Jeff's mentioned, it's a 1968 facility. It was built a long time ago, and it needed some repairs. So one of the big things, which you'll see in the next slide, is the original concrete that was around the pool deck was built with wood in between the concrete and was built with original concrete that was done with a salted finish, which you can see in that picture there with the rainbow. And while it is gorgeous, it started having some issues where the wood was rotting, some of the concrete was beginning to chip, and the plaster on the pool was all, it had not done in over 15 years for it to be done. So there were calcium deposits on the bottom of the pool. There were all kinds of things that were in a little bit need of assistance, and through a lot of member feedback and also some feedbacks, a little gentle nudge from our county health inspector, we were definitely, we knew it was time to make this place look a little bit more beautiful and get it up to what we know it always has been and always could be. So we were able to redo all of the concrete on the pool deck, as you can see in there, which was quite a big undertaking. We were able to redo all of the plaster in a few stages, which I'll let Jeff touch on here in a moment. But with that, we were also able to bring in new lounge chairs, new lane lines, a fresh coat of paint to a bulk of the outside of the facility, and as well, we were able to bring in a new PAL lift, or a PAL lift, which is our handy lift, to make it accessible for all parties who want to be able to utilize and enjoy this beautiful facility, which we have. So to touch a little bit more on how we were able to do that, I will pass back over to Jeff, who knows a lot more about the construction projects than I do.
Thank you, Will. So yes, in addition to the courts, looking at the pool was some issues too. As Will talked about, if we look at the next slide real quick, Lana, if we could. If you look at the photo on the right, again, beautiful photo. I love that rainbow, but that's the old deck right there. Salted finish and the wood expansion joints, which I guess maybe was the standard way of doing things in 1968, but it did become quite problematic for us. If you look at the left photos, those are broom finish, which is now the industry standard for pool decks. So looking at the process, working with the community services director, Erica had already secured a capital improvement project funding for this, but we had to figure out how we're going to do this, because the pool is basically, those that are familiar with the facility, the pool is landlocked. And we have tons and tons of concrete we have to get out of there, tons of plaster we have to get out of there, tile. So those, I didn't put a photo in here, which I kind of wish I did at the time. We had an old playground area over on the southeast side that by the time I had got here, the playground had been removed, but the sand still remained, the grass berm remained. It was an area that was basically locked off. It wasn't being used. So we kind of thought, well, let's expand. We could potentially expand the fitness area if we demo all that, bring in concrete. But that would be, so that was phase one of the pool project, but it'd also be a final phase for the fitness area expansion, because we needed a way to be able to get vehicles in there. So bringing them off Park Marisol through now a brand new concrete deck became an area, a way for it to get the vehicles on and off to extract all that heavy concrete, the plaster, and it became a staging area, because the project, which was slated for 3 months, if you guys recall, last year we had an enormous amount of rain, ended up taking 5 months because we were getting rained out so much. They couldn't even get the vehicles on there because it was completely saturated in water. So we had an area to be our staging area where they can keep their equipment. So once we had the playground area concrete done, then we started bringing in phase two, which we went out to a formal bid for the concrete deck, awarded that through council, and then we started tearing out the deck, which took about it was supposed to be a month and a half, ended up being about 3 months because, again, all the heavy rains we received. Once that was done, then we went out to bid. We actually went out to bid beforehand, but we had it ready to go, teed up for the plaster contractor. A separate bid, separate contractor to redo the plaster, LED lighting, the tile upgrades inside the pool. So once the pool deck was done, then the other contractor came in, tore out all the plaster, put all brand new plaster in, all LED lighting. Had to do a lot of rewiring because, again, 1968 facility, a lot of the wiring had been corroded. Some of the conduits had collapsed, so we had to do some trenching, digging, some additional change orders that we weren't expecting, but it's kind of standard in the industry when you're dealing with a pool of that age. And then we reopened it in April to a very, very happy audience who really missed their pool. So they're very excited to have that back. And it's, as Will mentioned, it's a beautiful pool. Will and his crew brought in, again, new lane lines, all the accents that came around with the chairs, the picnic tables, everything to really complete the look of the pool now that we have. And it's absolutely swamped. As Will mentioned, it's probably one of the most beautiful ones in the area. That's why we draw so much from the Woodland Hills, West Hills area, because they say, well, we come here because you guys have by far the best pool in the area. And In the summertime, when Rec Swim opens up, we've got a line out the door of non-members that come in and use a city pool, which is what it's designed for. Everyone wants to come in and use the pool, and so the summertime, it's an amazing sight to see because it's just a lot of happy customers inside the pool. So we're very excited to have that project up and running and get that going now. So we'll move on to the fitness center updates, which Will was heavily involved in, and I'll bring that up back onto Will.
Thank you, Jeff. As you can see in these photos here, we have a very incredible offering of equipment, not just for cardiovascular equipment. We also have a lot of strength equipment that unfortunately I was not able to add into this presentation. But through our processes and updating the facility and ensuring that it stays such a great crown jewel for the entire community, we've been adding a lot of stuff and also just updating and making sure the offerings we do have are the best that they possibly can be for everyone. So we started off mainly with our cardiovascular equipment, a lot of our treadmills, ellipticals, all those kinds of equipment. What you're seeing in these photos here are the old pieces of equipment. So some of these treadmills had been in there for upwards of 10 years and had tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of miles used on them, and we definitely got our money's worth out of them, but it was time for some new equipment. So we were very fortunate to be able to put in 5 brand new treadmills, 6 brand new ellipticals, 4 new upright bikes, as well as outside we were able to add a new cable cross machine, which was very, very well received by our member base, who was very excited for it. So there was a lot of member feedback that pushed us into this, as well as new weights, new benches, and a lot of replacement of older equipment that we have and we were able to bring in and increase. So here you can see all the new fitness equipment that's in there. So a lot of the same equipment, but we're also trying to bring a lot of the branding together. It's really difficult maintenance-wise, especially with older equipment, to find people that are able to handle different brands, sourcing parts, finding people that know how to work on different equipment. Much as it would be in your kitchen to have appliances from all different companies and expect one appliance technician to come in and handle those, it's difficult. So this not only helps with bringing the best possible member experience forward for users of our gym, but also to be able to make it easier and have less downtime and be able to keep things moving as often as we can. It's a gorgeous gym. We offer a lot of abilities for people to utilize different equipment, and we try to keep as much as we can, but it's a smaller space, so being able to maximize our uptime of our equipment and make sure that when someone wants a piece of equipment that they can use it and find it working is always a big value add. But we were able to also add additional equipment that members had been asking for. We added a glute extension machine, and we added a couple of other strength pieces that people were really looking for, and we're looking to, as we go on, increase by doing some of these updates and different new equipment.
Looking at the photo right there, it really was a team effort because while Will was working on the new equipment, if you look at the treadmills, they all have individual TVs that you can put on whatever channel you would like. Problem was, these are all digital systems, and the system that we had through Spectrum at the time was all analog, so they're not compatible. So while Will is working on getting this new equipment and getting compatible equipment where it's all uniform and the same and to where our technician could work on it much easier, I was working with IT with Tony and Ryan from our IT department, who were very instrumental in helping us get a whole new digital backbone for the televisions because we had to take out the entire system, put a whole new television system in. So it was, again, it's everything we do there is a team effort. With us, IT, Public Works, it's, you know, many hands make light work, and that's how we're so successful, is we work so well together as a team. So I Will's getting all those things in. We're getting everything ready on the back side to make sure, because everyone was very used to having their TVs and they wanted to still have their TVs. So we've got everything up and running to where now there's a multitude. I think we have 300 channels or something like that. And it's a whole new digital system instead of channels 2, 4, 5, 7. Now it's 4.2, 4.3, 4. It's a whole different system. And so everyone now can have whatever channel they want on there, put whatever sport or whatever it is they'd like to watch. So again, a team effort is what really made this fitness area come together. And we have so many happy members now that everything's not done, but they see that progress is being made. Over the last year and a half with tennis courts and pools and weight equipment and fitness equipment, they see that we're really making a concerted effort to really renovate this facility. So we're not done yet, but they really see that we're really trying and we're making a lot of progress, and they are very happy by the results so far. We're getting a lot of very positive feedback.
some upcoming renovations over at the Tennyson Swim Center. We're going to be updating the lobby with some modernization, just some fresh paint, really updating the color palette. As you can see from these photos, it's just a little dark. Not sure exactly when it got renovated last, but it's just dark with some browns. We want to just upgrade that with some light, bright colors, just enhance the reception desk and make that a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, change out the lighting and add some more digital signage. So we can really enhance our flyering and have it all digital, so we're not using as much paper in the facility. We just want to create like a more cohesive and contemporary look all around the facility. We also are going to be doing some updates at the fitness studio with some paint, also just kind of lightening it up, brightening it up, and then putting some new curtains so it just has privacy and just has a little bit more of flexibility for the room.
Okay, continuing on, capital improvement projects are some projects that we're looking to hopefully do in the future. Again, we've made a lot of progress, but it's still a 1968 facility and there's still a lot to be done. We're looking at potentially a roof replacement. We do have a lot of leaks that our maintenance staff has been very good at patching and keeping the facility dry, but the facility does need a new roof. Our main water line was put in 1968 when galvanized pipes were very popular. It is a 6-inch water line that's 6 feet deep, but we've already had 2 breaks on it, and those repairs are quite costly. So we know that sooner or later that water line is going to run out, and we're going to have to we're trying to get ahead of these things before they become problems, i.e. put in a new water line while the existing water line is still going, and then take a day or two just to disconnect the old one, abandon it, and reconnect and start with a new line. The electrical switchgear is all 1968, still working fine, but again, that could go down, and then that could be some time, so we're trying to get ahead of that. The HVAC units, a lot of those were put in the late 90s. They're still holding together, but we do have to do a lot of patchwork on those. So those are things that we need to get done. And looking to upgrade and remodel the kitchen, go out to RFP and redo that. These are or reopen it. These are currently unfunded capital improvement projects, ones that we would like to do. Probably looking $3 to $4 million to do it all, so that's something that would happen in phases. But again, these are things that we feel this facility is going to need to keep it the crown jewel of the city of Calabasas. But again, it's not something we currently have funding for, so it's something we're working on that we're hoping to do in the near future.
Right, moving on, I would love to touch on some of the amazing aquatics opportunities that we're providing over here at the Calabasas Tennyson Swim Center. One of which we recently just began doing again. It's a Red Cross class for water safety instructors, which is a swim instructor acclimation and teaching program. So that's for people who are looking to teach swim lessons to anybody from 6 months to about 14 years of age. So there's a pretty wide gap there. So that's anything from children who are, just looking to try to get in the pool and become acclimated to the water and know how to be safe when they're in the water, and if they fall in, how to get their head above water and prevent drowning. So a lot of true water safety. As far as kids that are 12, 14 that are looking towards going into high school and might want to be on their water polo or on their swim teams and are looking to learn what the basic strokes are, how to do flip turns, all those kinds of things that can give them a great base for the aquatic workout world when they get a little bit older and be able to explore that. So we are one of the only facilities in Southern California that is able to offer this class, and since we brought it in about 2 months ago, each class we've offered has sold out. So it's been a very popular, very successful program thus far. In addition, we also, through the American Red Cross, through a partnership with them, we also offer lifeguard training classes, which is incredible for us to have the opportunity to train local kids in lifeguarding and have the opportunity for them to be employed by and work with us as well, the same way that I was when I started with the city 6 years ago. And also as an opportunity for kids that want to, learn more about the water, maybe not even to do it for us, but if they want to eventually go and become an ocean lifeguard, or if they want to go, their family, friends are throwing a party and they want to make a little side money. And it never hurts to have a great understanding of water safety, and that's what both of those classes are really about. In addition, we also teach our own swim lessons in-house. This year, we're very fortunate to be able to offer over 100 different 2-week swim lesson sessions between all the different course levels. So that's, again, anywhere from 6 months to about 14 years of age. We're also offering adult classes. So there's an adult beginner and an adult intermediate swim program, both of those targeting those folks who may not have always had the best immersion to water. There's never any age where it's too late to start swimming and learning water safety. So it's a really great opportunity for us to provide, potentially grandparents that, are now have grandchildren that are looking to swim, and why can't you come in the deep end with me, to get them a little bit more comfortable and figure it out, and for the intermediate class as well, for them to have the opportunity to learn a little bit more of what it may take for them to get into swimming as a hobby more often and all those kinds of things. So all of these classes are taught by in-house staff, so they're all taught by self-trained City of Calabasas swim instructors through the American Red Cross. So it's an awesome program for us to be able to do that and provide that for everyone. This summer, for the first time, we're introducing online registration for all of our swim lesson classes. In the past, that had to be in person just to ensure that people were signing up for the correct classes and to make sure there was no, well, I technically qualify for this class, but I could fall under this one. Which one do I sign up for? So we've spent a lot of this off season, which is what we call kind of our fall winter, where it's not summer and super warm, where everybody wants to be by the pool, to really streamline the process for which classes for which people, and help out those edge fringe cases of, well, I could be in this one, I could be in that one, to really try to make this not just a great program for our residents that are here, but for anybody in the area that's looking for a great swim program, that we can offer it to as many people as possible and make it as streamlined and as smooth as we can. In addition to what we've noted here, we also have a couple of additional aquatics programs that are occurring this summer. We've got some movie nights by the pool, which have always been a big hit in the community. We're doing 3 of them this year, a little bit of some Pixar classic movies for the family to come and enjoy. Those are $3 entry. We usually see somewhere between 100 to 150, sometimes upwards of 300 participants when we host these movie nights. So it's a great time, even if the movie's not the most enticing thing, for families to come by and experience some music, games, some fun by the pool, and really get a community experience out of our city facility, which is lovely for us to do. We also are doing our 4th of July splash party this year, as we have done for the past several years. That is a free event that we host within the city, where we have a lot of games, prizes, food available for purchase, and a lot of really exciting stuff in conjunction with our 4th of July fun run that we do right on the lake there. So it's really a great time for the whole community to be able to come, enjoy the pool, and see what we have to offer at the Tennyson Swim Center. So we're very fortunate to offer that.
I'm going to talk about our Top Seed Tennis Academy, our tennis programming at the Calabasas Tennis and Swim Center. This program is recognized by the USTA, USPTA, and SCTA for excellence in junior player development. They offer 45 sessions a week that have about 4 to 6 players enrolled. They also offer an after-school youth program serving about 245 players. And they have 4 different skill levels that serves about ages 5 through 18, and they have 16 tennis professionals on staff. And additional Top Seed conducts about 315 private lessons each week, which is an amazing amount of lessons. They also host some USTA-sanctioned tournaments for both youth and adults. So they do about 12 youth tournaments a year and 6 adult tournaments. And their signature tournament is the Men's International Pro Tournament that draws some high-level international players that just concluded the end of March. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Let's open it up to some questions. Let's begin. I'll begin on the left side. Commissioner Mardell.
Thank you so much for the presentation and all that great information, and you guys are making amazing progress. It does need a revamp over there, and I love what you guys are doing. I guess my biggest question would be, how can we help you get to your goals? I know that you have some things that you have on your checklist, your wish list. How can we help you as a commission, reach those goals?
Well, I'd say that you guys are a voice of advocacy for us with the city council. I believe you are all appointed from a city council member. So the facility is what it is because we have the council who sees it and supports it and gives us the funding and gives us the tools, what we need, through our director, through our city manager. So again, just being a positive voice about things you see, even if there's things you see that you'd like to see changed. When Will's talking about all the equipment and even some of the new equipment we bought, those are things that we didn't necessarily think of ourselves, that people brought to our, hey, what about this? What about this? So just being an advocate for us and, hey, what they're doing over there is really great stuff. What can we do to help? I mean, just talking with the council,
Well, I saw some of your work a year ago, and the tennis courts are just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And are you making much use of the outside as well? You know, outside the rooms?
I'm sorry, you said the
Are
art
you
side?
making use of, yes,
The artist alley?
Outdoors? For the equipment, are you putting any equipment outside?
Oh, the outside equipment, I'm sorry, misunderstood. Yes, absolutely. We have, because we've kind of limited in space there, when the facility is built, it probably wasn't built for exactly what we throw at it right now, so we're always trying to find creative ways. So we do have indoor and outdoor equipment. The outdoor equipment we keep in shade. We have shade structures, so we try and keep people, we have fans there, try and keep them as cool as possible. But again, the facility's kind of really grown, especially with 7,500 members. So we are being as creative as we can to try and expand the fitness area outside, inside, you know, make space where we can to still keep in mind safety, to where there's enough space for people to move around. But the outside equipment does get a lot of use as well, absolutely.
Thank you.
Is that what you were asking for?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
thank you.
thank you.
Hi, this will not be a surprise to some of our staff, but I have some questions about the funding and the preference for Calabasas residents. So I have asked many times about member priority. Like for the WSI classes, I'd like to know if we have a preference, since they're always selling out. Do our Calabasas residents have a preference period for those?
I don't believe they do, because I don't believe we can do that, because the facility was purchased with Prop A money from the County of Los Angeles, and part of the grant stipulation is we cannot have residency restrictions.
Okay, so that's true even though it's an enterprise funding itself?
I believe so. I'll let the director speak to it a little more, but I believe that is the
She's
case.
heard, she knows I have a thing about this.
I do know, but yes, that is true.
Okay. And then for the non-funded capital project possibilities, if we're putting money into the capital project that isn't coming from Prop A, right? Like, at what point do we buy enough back of the facility that we have paid for it all already, and we can start giving preference to the taxpayers who are funding the current stuff?
Okay, I want to make sure I understand your question. So we would buy it back from the county to where we could put residency
We would essentially,
restrictions?
is there an opportunity at some point to say, we've redone it all?
No, it's in perpetuity, so
Okay.
unfortunately not.
Thank you. And then my last thing's positive. So, Director Green took us to see the new pool deck right after it opened, and the difference is phenomenal. So when you say, it was looking a little bad, no, like the pool was driving away towards the lake. And you could fall in there and like presumably end up in the lake. I don't know. What you did was so fabulous, and I appreciate your gentle way of phrasing the health department and whatnot, but it was really in dire need of help, and what you did is just fantastic, so thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I think that, the swim and tennis center is phenomenal. Like you said, the crown jewel. There is nothing in other cities that has this. I really do, I love going there. I'm a member myself. Will knows my son is a lifeguard. My other son plays tennis. So we really use it a lot, and it really is a great facility. I guess I have a question regarding, do you guys break down, like, when members do go and if they're using tennis and they're in a clinic, or they're going to swimming lessons, or like what the use is by all the members, and how that, do you monitor that in any way? Is there numbers on that?
To a degree we can, because we have different tiers of membership, where there's a health and there's tennis. Tennis is pretty much the premier that gets you everything. Health gets you everything except for tennis. So we can see how many members have health. So to a degree, yes, but if you have tennis, you can go anywhere, and if it's a prime time, you're there anytime. You could be there anytime the facility's open. Non-prime time, as long as you're there within your specified hours. As long as you're within your hours, they may go play tennis and they may go to the gym afterwards and they may go take a dip in the pool. We don't know. A lot of people use almost all aspects of it. There are some that just, again, if they want to use the pool or if they want to use the health, they're not really signing up for the tennis side because they're not interested in that. So, but tennis can give you everything. And so there are some people, I'm sure, that use just tennis, but we wouldn't be able to specify with 7,500 members who uses just what.
Can you tell over time the tennis lessons, not the private lessons, that's obviously you are monitoring that, but the camps and year to year, is that keeping the numbers the same? Is there more or less, tennis students coming to that?
It's pretty solid because we usually have waiting lists. So again, we only have so many courts, and we don't use lessons on all of the courts because we still need to keep some open for open play and for membership play. So most of those, like the summer camps, things like that, the after-school clinic, they do incur wait lists. So the numbers are staying pretty full as to however many, even with as many courts as we have, we can only hold so much. So the numbers are staying pretty strong because we constantly have wait lists to get other people on.
And then Match Tough, is it right? Match Tough? I can't even remember what it is. What's the name of the match? What is the name of the?
The contractor?
Yeah.
Top Seed?
Top Seed, sorry. Oh, they do other thing that's Match Tough. That's something different. Top Seed has been working there for how long? How long have they had their contract?
From what I understand, Steve McAvoy, who's the owner of Top Seed, was there with the original owners before the city purchased it. So
Oh, really? Yeah.
Top Seed has been with the facility as long as the city has owned it, and probably a few years prior. I couldn't tell you how far Steve goes back. I know he was a playing pro back in the late 80s. I don't know exactly when he joined the club, but I know he was there with the club when the city purchased the facility in '94.
Oh, interesting, okay. My other question, Will, is there a swim team?
There is, yes. So we have a non-competitive swim program that happens. It's year-round. So we do it in quarterly blocks. So we have a couple different swim programs. There's a bronze, a silver, a gold, and a platinum, and there's also an adult masters program as well. That
Is there a
occurs.
competitive swim team?
We
Is
do
there-
not have a competitive
Oh, there
swim
isn't.
team
Okay, I didn't think there
at this
was.
time, yeah.
Okay. And then the other, I just had two suggestions. First of all, there are so many channels. Is there a guide? Can never find what I'm looking for. You got to really scroll through all that.
Yeah, so we actually did, I had personally made a guide for there because there's a lot of channels that were pretty easily usable on the analog system where you just kind of went up, down and had ESPN, ABC, kind of had
Right.
all the basics. When they moved it over, obviously 300 channels is great because if you want to find a niche network, it's in there.
Right.
But it was a little bit difficult to find all of them. We had made them in an effort to try to move all of our branding to be pretty seamless across the department-wide. We are currently in the midst of taking down some of the signage and recreating newer ones. So instead of taping flyers up to the wall with signs on it, we're looking to make a more permanent solution. So that's temporarily, there are no signage in there that is
Right.
saying it, but it is in the works. It is something we're working on, I promise you.
Okay.
Commissioner Klein, if I could talk a little more. What we did is when the signs Will is talking about are of the more popular channels.
Okay.
We knew some were much more higher demand, so there are someone who might want to find a channel that maybe a lot of other members aren't interested in, but the ones that are looking for your ESPNs and your Fox, Fox News or Fox Sports or whatever it is they're looking for, the ones that we saw that were in high demand, where there's cheat sheets in signs
Okay, there
that
is.
basically say, 10.1 is this, that's ESPN, ESPN2 is here.
I couldn't find
So-
Oprah. I couldn't find
And,
it.
and the guides, yes. There's a channel that's a guide also, but again, with that many, you have to scroll through the entire guide to see where all the channels are. So we try to make it as easy as we can, knowing which, say, 15 or so are the most popular, most heavily requested, because you could direct dial those in on the keyboard on the treadmill itself.
Yeah, the new machines are great. It's just so nice. My last recommendation is for pool movie night, Jaws. You've done it? Oh.
That is
Oh, that
not the
sounds
first time that has been suggested.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you for all of your efforts, and I did have the opportunity to tour the facility. I spent probably 45 minutes there and, walked through all of it and with both Erica and Jeff, and it was fantastic. I offered several suggestions at that point. So I'll just mention a couple of questions from the presentation, if that's okay. The first is the 7,500 member capacity, or the members. Are you at capacity?
Yes, we are. We have a large and a very extensive waiting list. So as members drop off, we make calls and offer them up and trying to keep it consistent. But yes, we feel if we brought in more, we'd start having too many people in the pool, not being able to get machines, not being able to get tennis courts. So we try and balance allowing as many people in as we can, but still making it so that people who are there are easily able to access what amenity they like to have.
Okay, thank you. My next question is, I think that this happened last year, but I can't remember. When we had the external consultant that was working collaboratively with the department, were user fees assessed at that point?
They were not.
Okay.
That's something that the city's looking at now, to do a fee study on those membership fees.
That is my question, which is when would those be assessed? Or, the next question that I have is around the aquatics programming. I love that you're offering these. I just wanted to make a suggestion, and that is that as a former triathlete, it was very hard to find programming for adults who were looking to learn to swim specifically for triathlons. And I know that sounds silly, but I've had several conversations with friends and colleagues of mine. And the reason for that is because you swim differently when you are swimming in a triathlon than you do if you're swimming just recreationally. So I wanted to just make a suggestion that you might find that there is an interest among the athletes community to offer swimming specifically for triathletes.
Absolutely, and we're always looking for ways that we can increase our aquatic offering, and especially in that regard. We found a lot of folks that are looking for more Ironman, triathlon type swimming, so that's definitely in the cards as well.
Okay, great. And my last question is around, and you may not know the answer to this because the programming through Top Seed may not be within your control. However, are there also pickleball classes that are available or clinics through this?
Yes, we do have pickleball instructors who are dual tennis instructors with Top Seed. And sometimes they will run tournaments. Friday night is a very popular night for pickleball because that's what's considered open play. And the reason we chose Friday night is because every tier of membership is available to come in on Friday night. So that's when we'll have 60, 70, maybe more. We have the two junior tennis courts, which are duals pickleball courts, and court 15 duals also as two other pickleball courts. So we have up to 4 pickleball courts. But Friday night is very popular with the open play, which a lot of people, again, had requested that. That's why we started looking at it. And again, we chose Friday night because, again, every tier we have is available to come in on Friday night, as opposed to doing it like on Monday night where the weekend membership people could not come in. So we try to make it as accessible to everybody because pickleball is growing.
Right.
And that's why we have the additional courts over at De Anza and over at the community center. So we are definitely acknowledging the rapid growth of pickleball, and as someone who plays it himself and really enjoys it, so we really try and make as much offering as we can, but realizing that there's still a heavy tennis community also, and with the pro tournament, so we're not able to make more pickleball courts currently because we have no place to put them, and if we dual more tennis courts with pickleball lines, those cannot be for competitive play. They could not be for high school tournaments, the pro tournament, because you can't have multiple sets of lines on there. So we're kind of at our capacity of what we could offer there. That's why Director Green, we'd offered more courts over at De Anza with Amy Haber and at the community center. So we have another 10 courts on the other side of town to try and really provide offering for the pickleball community.
Okay, great, thank you. Erica, do you want to make any comments about this?
I do not. I just want to thank the team for an amazing presentation, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I want to just echo what was made earlier. Please let us know how we can be a resource for you and continue to support your efforts, whether it's in the upcoming capital improvement efforts or kind of broader advocacy and awareness. We're happy to be that resource. So thank all three of you for coming tonight. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, we are now moving to the announcements portion of the agenda. I will start with Commissioner Klein. Any announcements?
I have no announcements, thank
Okay.
you.
None from Williams?
I have no announcements, yes.
Okay. The only announcement that I have is I want to just thank the City Council and our Community Services Department, particularly in light of the fact that nationally, erosion of investment in parks are happening at the federal level. And so I am anticipating that there could be an increased demand for our parks this summer across all of our parks, given the fact that going to places like our national parks may be very difficult, or with staffing, it could be extremely difficult for people to get reservations and some of those kinds of things. So I just want to say thank you, and it is entirely feasible that in the coming months and years, at least in the foreseeable future, that parks' demand for our recreational facilities could continue to increase. So I want to say thank you. With that, we have public comment, and I have been given one signature, one individual that would like to speak, Rosa Besser, who is joining us from Calabasas. Please join us for a public comment. You'll have 3 minutes to be able to make your comments, and thank you and welcome.
Good evening, Council, Commissioners, and Recreation people. I'm not here to talk about dogs tonight. I'm here to say how much my husband and I love the Calabasas Tennis and Swim Club. We are there 5 days a week, and it's not just for our physical health, it's for our mental health. Otherwise, we might, you know. So, and we noticed, I'm in the aquafit class, a very strong group. I noticed, of course, the big improvements and the iron handrail that was put in for those of us who have some difficulty with the stairs. The fitness programs, there's several new instructors. They are wonderful. Love the diversity of the choices of classes. The courts, my husband's on the pickleball court. We enjoy and use it a lot. And there are a few little tweaks we would like to see adjusted. I'm glad that you are going to be addressing the entryway. That turnstile has been a problem from day one. Somehow, if we can change it, get rid of it, whatever, get rid of it would be wonderful. Because there are more classes and offerings, some of the classes have been in room 2, and it's a tile floor. I'm not asking you to take out the floor, but if you could provide some heavy mats in that room as well, so people can be more comfortable while we're doing our yoga and lying on the floor. One other little one that I have addressed before is when there's a large group in the pool, the showers are really impacted. And then in the summertime, I would love to see, like they have at the beaches, just a rinse-off shower outside. And because not everybody's in there to, you know, scrub away, that would help taking some of the pressure off of the shower room. And there was a situation at one time, a father was there on open swim with his daughter and a young girl, a kid, and he could not take her into the women's bathroom, of course, to shower, and he could not take her into the men's. So that is a situation that arises, I think, in the summertime. Nothing fancy, a pump, step, something like that, that has an alternative. But we love it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Rosa. And we're thrilled that you're talking about both the dog issues and your love of the Tennis and Swim Center. So we welcome your comments always. Thank you. We'll move to the consent calendar. So again, these are all matters that are on the consent calendar of this year, or this meeting. We have one. So I need a motion for approval of the items on the consent calendar.
So moved.
Moved. Any seconds? Seconded. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Excuse me. All in favor? Aye. No opposition and no abstentions. All right, we're moving on to continued business, which is the committee reports. We do not have, we'll start with the liaison to the Arts Council, which is Commissioner McQuillan. Do you have any comments?
No, we haven't met at all this year.
Okay,
so-
has not yet met. Our senior center commissioner or individual is unfortunately not able to join us tonight, nor is our high school representative. So our committee reports are very brief this evening, and so we'll move on to our new business, which is item number 5, the municipal code signage and outreach. There has been a recommendation that was provided to the commissioners to review and approve the municipal code signage for use at the parks and facilities, along with the associated outreach materials.
I'll just say a few things, Chair and Commissioners. So in June of 2024, City Council approved some adjustments to our municipal code to address some newly found issues that we had in the park. So with that, Amy Haber, who oversees our parks and park maintenance, created some signage and some things that we can address and notify the public of these updates. So I'm going to turn it over to Amy Haber, our recreation manager, to give you a presentation.
Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, fellow commissioners. How are you? It's nice to
Hello,
see
Amy.
you. My favorite thing to talk about lately has been Muni Code. Staff knows I love myself a good Muni Code. The funny part about it is we want to do this, we want a municipal code that has a little teeth to it, but we also have been looking for a way to still come out on the proactive side and getting folks to feel good about being in their parks, but yet honoring the fact that they're up against neighborhoods, or that there are, we have maybe only a small number of parks, and so usage for our residents and our community, we don't want to be competing with people running their own private tennis lessons at Gates Canyon, for instance, or groups that are dominating. And the one I think we hear probably the most is, especially right now with this gorgeous, gorgeous weather we've had, is the usage and the side effects of having a large amount of usage. Our trash containers get overfilled, or the restrooms are not as clean as they normally are, and parking that could impact our neighbors. So we did come up with this wonderful municipal code that I'm just so excited about. But I also wanted to share that what we're talking about tonight is how we're actually branding and creating kind of a comprehensive outreach with our community and with the residents and the non-residents that are coming in for the usage. So what we're looking at tonight, I'm going to show you 3 different messaging designs for how we want to put some signage out into the parks themselves and then outline the expectations. But I also wanted to share that we are right now training a handful of our recreation attendants to help us with this outreach and going out to the parks, particularly at the prime hours, and then coming in with a smile that shows them, hey, hi, may not have known this, and they'll be loaded with these, gorgeous, based on your choices tonight, but here's an example, an outreach brochure that will explain, hey, you might not have known, but you actually need to have a permit to do this. And they'll say it with a smile and greet and point to our beautiful signs that you're going to pick out tonight. But the beauty of this is it does have a little bit of teeth so that we can protect the assets of our taxpayers, that we can, in fact, say to them, no, this actually is law, and we do need to have you comply. So it gives us a little bit more, I say sunshine, smile with teeth. So, so I'm going to show you 3 different styles that we were looking at, because again, we wanted something that was going to be bright, that was going to call people's attention to it, but it still gets the message across. So we were hoping for your input as far as which design that you thought might do that trick. And we will be incorporating this into our outreach brochures, within our recreation brochure, within our signs, and even our website, and have it sort of mirror each other. So our first one here, and these are all the messaging is the same. I gave you examples from the 3 different parks where we have picnic shelters. So you're going to see Gates, Grape, and De Anza Park, but we will use these signs as well in the rest of our parks as well, especially noting when the use hours, park hours, as they vary at different parks. So this first one all in green, a little bit of hillsides above, mirrors our city's color schemes. Take you to the next one. Perhaps a little bit of a nod to our Calabasas orange pumpkin. Personally, that's my favorite, but a little bit of sunshine on the top there. And our third one, again, incorporates a bit of the hillsides, has a kind of a different color scheme than our normal, so maybe that might help to call attention over to it. It doesn't blend in necessarily with our usual. Has a little bit of sunshine again. And you'll notice that with each of these, we'll tailor our outreach park use guides to mirror that. So this last slide is basically going to show you all 3 next to each other so that you have an opportunity to see which style you like. And I'm absolutely happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you so much, Amy. Let's open it up for some questions for anyone on the commission. Have any questions or comments?
So each different one has a park named, but this would be applicable to all parks?
Correct.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, Vice Chair. So I just used 3 different parks, but basically you would pick the sign and we'll put in the park name and those specific park hours. But the branding will be the same across all parks.
Other comments? Well, at this point, I mean, we're just having a discussion. We will at some point need to have a motion for a vote, but it gives an opportunity to ask questions and/or share thoughts.
You know, I love your flyers, but like the little bouncy house, like these are super cute. So in terms of being like, you can't do this super cute thing without a permit, I really like the way that you made it engaging.
Thank you. Thou shalt not have fun.
That's not
No,
true.
that isn't our idea.
That's not true.
That's
You know-
not true at all.
That's not true.
No, but there is a high risk to just to
Right.
share real quick, there is a high risk to the taxpayers if we have, with the use of the mechanical equipments, the bouncy houses and things like that. So we do, in fact, codify it that they must have the proper insurance and paperwork in place. So when people are popping those up, that's one part of it. It's also the fact that there can be, when they're getting really large, it can be very intrusive to the use of the park itself. So we are looking out for the interest of again, from our residents' point of view. But it is cute.
Brad, did you have any questions or comments?
How are these rules to be enforced?
Yeah. So it's a great question. So I will be honest that right now, the first thing we're going to do is our goal is more outreach oriented. It is our hope that people will be moved to comply. But this outreach, this use guide does say to them, this is law. It explains why it's law. It also gives them, on the main, those top 6 there about the gatherings of 25 people, the use of the bouncy houses, vendors, if they want to, somebody like a taco cart or a character, reoccurring team practices, that can be problematic for us when they come and they use it over and over again, and others can't use that space. Same thing with private training and filming, which has actually already been codified. But with those 6, we did specifically highlight them in our outreach brochure that the staff will take out to them. It explains why it's codified and why it's a law. It explains to them how they can do it properly, so they can, in fact, secure those permits or requirements and meet the requirements. But then it also says to them, we really ask for your compliance, but we have the ability to enforce it, in which case we're kind of working on that piece of it right now. It can go through law enforcement, it can go through code enforcement. We have a few different options. Most of the time, the staff's going to start with me, and I have a really persuasive way about me to get people to comply.
Not that any of us know that about you.
No. We call it my super smile.
Any other questions? I just wanted to ask, I love all three of the designs. I wanted to ask about whether consideration has been given to the likelihood for fading over time. And specifically, for example, the orange, is that more likely to fade? Or would a dark color be better? Has any consideration been given to that based on?
No, most of these were through a company. We have a company. It's actually the size of this, by the way, is rather extensive. These are 18 inches across by 36 inches. They're large. They're pretty heavy. So part of that is finding a company that will do the unique sizing of it. And they are companies that actually work specifically for parks, et cetera. So we'll. It wasn't given a consideration, but I didn't think it needed to be based on they give you the opportunity to create your own design, and so.
Yes, they're printed on UV, so it's a UV.
Thank you. That's the,
vinyl and then attached to metal, so they shouldn't fade. We'll have to replace them after a few years, obviously, but they should
and
be
that's
okay.
true of what we have in the parks currently.
Yes.
Probably most of our signs that are starting to fade, we've had them for a good 8 to 10 years already, and before we even see that, so this would be of the same caliber.
Okay, great. Is there a motion for a design preference? Do you want to discuss design preferences first before?
Okay, I'll go.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, but orange.
I do that.
So I like our parks to look like our incredibly stunning hills and our. The green is our signs, our city. So I would like to put in my 2 cents for number 1. I think it's consistent with the branding of our city. I think it fits in a park. I know we've approved some very bright colored child play equipment because they're children and it should be fun. But to have these everywhere, like if you think about looking at this at Dianza Park, right behind it is going to be these hills. So I would make a motion for number 1, but there might not be a second, so we'll see.
There has been a motion and a second for design number 1. Let's open it up for any discussion.
I would like a motion for design number 3.
Okay, we first need to vote on the motion that's been moved and seconded before we can move to the second motion.
Can I elaborate on?
Please.
Okay,
yes.
so immediately looking at number 1, it just falls in line not only with the city, but with parks in general. When I think of Malibu Creek State Park or, being in a park, the first one speaks to me that, wow, this is something I might want to take a look at, and I will want to see what this is telling me. The other two, not so much. I'm not sure if I really need to read that or, make sure that I'm following whatever that says. This seems very official to me. So I really like design number 1.
Are there any other comments in the discussion portion of the motion that's been moved and seconded? Call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion to have number 1, which is the green background, be the preferred outreach for the signage and outreach? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 4 in favor. Any opposition? It's okay. You can vote it. Please.
Okay, opposition.
Okay, 1 opposition and no abstentions. So the motion passes 4-1.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you so much.
Would you like to know which one we took a bet to see which one we?
Yes.
So 1 and 3 were the ones we assumed would be the number ones, and number one was the one we figured would go through. So we do know you all.
You do know us. Yeah, congratulations. Great.
Thank
you
so
so
much.
much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Let's move to the oral reports portion of the agenda.
I just want to give a few updates to the commission. We had the men's pro tournament at the Tennis and Swim Center a few weeks ago, and that was a great success. So I would like to thank Top Seed and our management at Tennis and Swim for putting that on, and our council for attending and giving certificates. It was amazing. This past weekend, we had our junior egg hunt at De Anza. We added a class showcase, so families could stay and see a variety of our classes and camps that we're going to be highlighting over the summer, and that was a great success, and that was put on by Lana, who's still doing some of her other duties. So that was great. We had hundreds of families attend, so we were excited about that. And as you can see from the Tennis and Swim presentation, that really for our department, we're trying to enhance and elevate and modernize our facilities. So that's kind of been a top priority, to keep our facilities premier and really accentuate that for the city. Let's see, department operations. So with some of our new team members and management collaborating, we've really enhanced our operations by including additional technology. So like for our Civic Rec registration, our Connect teams, which is our part-time staff, kind of scheduling, but it does so much more than that. It's very robust, so we use it for forms and incidents and feedback, and so our team has immediate access to that throughout at any site. So we're really using technology to help modernize and make our operations more efficient. So that's another one of our priorities. And then we started a positive points program in our department. So this is really to encourage positivity and reward out-of-the-box thinking, actions, helping further department goals and collaboration, and just being positive overall. So that's really been a hit within the department, and our team will be rewarded with, small gifts. But it's really nice to see that our team is nominating one another and spreading the positivity, because it really goes far. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Green. Before I move to adjourn, does anyone else have any other oral reports that they'd like to offer? We do not have future agenda items on this agenda, I just realized. So I just want to say that in the future, I'd like to make sure that there is a slot for future agenda items, because I think that this is an opportunity for us to always bring some potential things forward. So let's make sure we do that. And I do have a suggestion that I will then forward, since it's not on the agenda and we can't discuss it. Okay, separate. All right, so with that, we'll move to adjourn. Our time is 7:13, and again, my non-gavel hand will serve as the gavel. So thanks, everyone. We are adjourned.